Quantum Gazing live stream, November 5th, 2022. Moving and directing energy. Some Ramon Grace techniques on transmutation. Welcome, everybody. Namaste and Sairam. I'm Connie Shaw, and this is my loving and accomplished husband, Jim Wright. By the way, he is also an extremely accomplished photographer and has taken the photos for most of the backdrops that you see behind us on our videos. Today, we have some absolutely mind-blowing techniques to share by the very famous dowser, healer, teacher, and shaman, Ramon Grace of Southwest Virginia. These techniques fall into the realm of tool-less. That means no dowsing rods, no pendulums, but you can use them if you like, and the moving of energy. One of Ramon's books is The Future is Yours. Do something about it. Here it is right now. And you can find this available online in a variety of places. You can find, and here's his other book as well, Techniques That Work for Me. You can use these 5 new techniques to do practical service projects without even leaving home. Let's start with a prayer. There's Ramon right there, yes. All right, let's start with a prayer. Beloved Lord, Heavenly Father, and Divine Mother, we thank you and your helpers, the Masters of Light, and the angelic host, for all that you continually do for all of us. We decree and intend that today the gazing attendees will receive special blessings, energy, uplift, vision, and capacity to receive and to send and direct energy in new practical and profound ways. We also decree that those who have been depressed, suicidal, stuck, or overwhelmed in any way will understand that energy and matter are interchangeable and that they have the power to change people's thoughts, conditioning, moods, beliefs, vitality, and reality. That's you, and you can do that for yourself and others. Further, we decree that if the people are open to inner shifting, that they'll be allowing of the process and will easily grasp how to use the skill sets on behalf of themselves and others. Thank you, beloved Lord, and your host of helpers, for continuing to recharge us, to protect all of us, and to empower all of us in ever deeper realizations that we are the ocean of consciousness and the vastness of being, which is love itself. Amen. So be it.
So now would be a good time if you need to get your photos of surrogates, or you need to get something to take notes just in case you happen to have forgotten. And again, let's see where the picture of Ramon Grace is. Right here. Here's the picture of Ramon Grace. Connie?
Yes. Now, regarding Ramon Grace, I personally think that he is a Siddha yogi, or master of time, space, energy, and form, who has never heard that term and could not care less, but who is totally dedicated to loving everyone he meets and to serving humanity. His cover, or disguise, is that of an Appalachian mountain man who does consulting for corporations, organizations, institutions, towns, and schools. Now, as you know, the late, great East Indian Advaita Master Nisargadatta Maharaj was also a family man like Ramon Grace. Nisargadatta ran a tobacco kiosk or newspaper stand for his day job to support his family. He also chain-smoked beady cigarettes and swore like a sailor while he taught at night advanced lessons on self-realization in his loft classroom to serious spiritual aspirants from around the world. His cover was that of a crusty, chain-smoking, swearing man, and that cover worked for him. Now, the disguise of a very blunt, cowboy-looking mountain man is Ramon Grace's cover, and it works for him. What's your disguise or cover? Remember, you're not your outer appearance, not the body, mind, or emotions, not your titles or your accomplishments or possessions or position in society. Who we are is Atma, is Holy Spirit, and we live forever. Lightworkers, as you know, come in every possible delightful disguise, background, and color, and they're all interesting, although many may try to appear bland and unassuming so that others will never suspect the depth of their knowledge and skills, and they can work unhindered. Many people may think that, well, Connie Shaw is just a woman, and she's blonde. What could she possibly know? I just love it when people underestimate me. It's so much fun. Now, last month, we worked from the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali about how we cause ourselves unnecessary suffering and how not to suffer. And we also gave new processes about how to listen deeply to those who have experienced grief, loss, shock, or trauma. And now, today, we're going to talk about how to clear that without their even being aware of it, to their own benefit and the benefit of others that you may not have ever even met. Most of these techniques, in fact all of them, can be done long distance or remotely. So this month we're going to work on how to align the universal energies of the divine will in order to align with the universal energies of the divine will, that is, in order to be used for specific miracles as empty vessels. Remember, you're not doing anything except a few basic procedures, and God is doing it all through you. So you don't have to think, oh, I hope I get this. I wonder if I'll do it wrong. No, you can't do it wrong. Just follow the directions. It's very simple. Children can do it. I would say children who are 6, 7, 8 years old can do it very well. And people in their 80s and 90s can do it very well, everybody in between. All right. But we're not using religious or spiritual terminology since humanity's at the stage of tapping into the love that we are, capital love, L for love and capital T for that we are, and letting it flow through us for the right job at the right time. This program is guaranteed to challenge you. And I would go so far as to say, even to the brightest among you, if you're not challenged, you're not paying attention. It challenges and delights us, and we know that many of you are perhaps far beyond our so-called abilities. And that's okay. We're just where we are doing our little part in the divine drama. Now, we're going to play the short video about categories of miracles and blessings that the Lord has done through us. And remember, each one of these might represent 100 or so people in some cases. So these are just various categories here and there that absolutely knocked our socks off and surprised us because we had no idea that they were going to be taking place. Then after we watch this little video, we're going to watch the Masters of Light Slideshow and do gazing before we teach the 5 new skill sets.
And as you know, we do not diagnose, prescribe, or cure, and we're definitely not medical doctors. All of you are encouraged to seek help from your healthcare givers. This is an educational, inspirational program. It's for entertainment purposes, and it's protected under free speech that's guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution, and is never meant to harm or coerce anyone to do anything in any way, but only to empower you, the viewers.
Now you can hold up your surrogate photos and kiss them if you wish, while we show the Masters of Light slideshow. The Masters are in the room with you, even though you may not be able to see them. You can also hold up the photos during gazing, again, which will take place right after this slideshow. So now the Masters of Light slideshow.
you enjoyed watching the gazing masters again, the masters of light. And you get more and more familiar with them each time you see them. Now we'll prepare for quantum gazing. Uncross your legs. Place your feet flat on the floor. If you're sitting on the floor, that's just fine. You can sit in a lotus position or however you would like to, of course. Now place your hands face up in a receptive position and put them down on your legs or in your lap, whatever is most comfortable for you. And get in mind a person or persons, loved ones, for whom you would like to have some good things come into their lives, or some negative things leave their lives. And think of 3 or 4 wishes or prayers or intentions for yourself and those loved ones that you'd like to help improve them and yourselves. And they can have to do with absolutely anything at all. Health, money, job, spiritual life, anything whatsoever. Just get them very, very clearly in your minds. And while you're gazing, let your mind become empty. Do your very best to just let all of your thoughts drain away and be gone from your mind, just as though you're in a nice deep meditation. If during the gazing you notice you're thinking again, don't let that bother you. Just empty your mind again and go back to no mind. And when you're gazing, you don't have to stare intently or try to transfer energy. Just look towards us with a soft, unfocused look. Before every gazing, we do a breathing exercise with our consciousness, our heart center right in the middle of our chest. And we notice at the end of our out breaths, when our consciousness reaches the heart center, how it feels right there in our heart center when our consciousness is there, when we're connecting with all that is. So let's do that right now. Let's breathe in deeply, shoulders up towards your ears. Big breath out, consciousness down, down, down into your heart center. Notice how that feels there. Let's do that again. Big deep breath in, shoulders up towards your ears. Breathe out, consciousness down into your heart center. One last time. Deep breath in, shoulders up towards your ears. Big breath out, consciousness down into your heart center, noticing that special feeling when you're connecting with all that is. And now let your consciousness expand out into the universe, connecting with the quantum field of love, with your concept of what the quantum field of love is. Let its pinkness, its warmth, its loveliness totally envelop you, and feel how wonderful that is. You can go to this place at any time. And now come back into the room. If you're going to hold up photos of surrogates, friends or family members that you would like to have participate in gazing, now's the time to hold them up. Some of you may have posters with a number of photos on them. Some of you may have photos laid out on the floor. However you've done it, that works. And it's as powerful. Sometimes we feel it's more powerful than actually having you here, having those surrogates present. So let's begin gazing right now.
Thank you, Jim, for setting that up. And thank you, our dearest, darling, beloved Lord, indweller of our hearts, and all of your helpers, the saints, the masters of light, the angelic host, the fairy kingdom. We appreciate all of your continual help. Now, this is a good time to mention that next time we offer gazing will be on Saturday, December the 3rd, 2022, and that we will have dropped back to Mountain Standard Time from Daylight Savings Time, actually tonight. The program will start at 2 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, and people will be watching on 5 continents in dozens of countries as usual. Now, we only mention this to help you recall that there are many time zones involved, and we can't please everyone as far as everyone being able to watch this live stream during your convenient daylight hours. People constantly ask, well, why don't you make it according to my time so it'll be more convenient to me? Well, darling hearts, there are lots of people involved in this, and so we all have to be patient and generous, and you can watch this anytime you like, as often as you like. So each time you watch, you can get help, blessings and miracles from the masters, no matter how many times you watch. Now we'll see the chart of the program overview for today. We're going to deal with the program topic, which is moving and directing energy. Also, the quantum gazing we just did, Ramon Grace, clearing techniques and transmutation. Transmutation means moving a form or energy or an object from one state or aspect to another. Then we're going to talk about the 3 basic principles and how to clear buildings before you enter them without even leaving home. Then clearing water in any building before you clear the building. Clearing all the people in it before you clear the building. And then how to decree and warn and protect loved ones if they're in danger. Whether you're awake or asleep, you program yourself to wake up and know who's in danger and then contact them in time. We're going to tell you 8 teaching stories, 5 powerful skills, clearing the water supply, how to specifically clear buildings. This is nothing we've ever talked to you about before. Some of you may know how to do it. And then we'll thank the Lord and the Masters. And you can send your report and even photos. If there's something dramatic that happened, like an x-ray that is different from a current x-ray, feel free to send those as well to info@connieshaw.com within 48 hours. There, and then also, as we just said, that says December the 10th, but we're not doing it on December the 10th. We're doing it on December the 3rd because our plans changed after we made the chart. Now then, I wanted to mention some teaching stories about transmutation. First of all, Sai Baba with Jack Hislop. Then we're going to talk about what Baba did with the Arati tray, the silver tray, in Canada when I was a keynote speaker one time for a Baba birthday celebration and talk. So the teaching stories on transmutation, again, are Sai Baba transmuted twigs into a crucifix, the Arati tray, which I'll tell you about, then a Halloween transmutation in New York City, and the lessons for Anita and Joe. And then actually I'm going to save the Ice and Cobra stories for later. That's not so interesting. And then the Sai Baba turning frogs into sparrows, water into petrol or gasoline, and the 4-gift ring with the lessons humility and obedience for me. And then Ramon Grace clearing the high school and all the miracles that happened when he hadn't done it before, but he just said, well, let's give it a try. It took him a few minutes, and it changed the lives of the faculty and students in major ways. Now, we're going to show you photos of miracles. And over the past 40 years, in the 55 trips Jim and I have taken to India to bring sick people to Sai Baba, I've observed close up at close range about 1,500 different miracles and transmutations. Then we're going to talk about clearing water, clearing every building, as we said. And then we're going to talk about the fact that you decree for a safe, smooth, productive car trip before you even get in the car, whether it's to travel across town or to travel across the country or in a plane, train, or boat to another country. The 5 new skill sets are, you can think of them this way. This is a mnemonic device. It's HIT PC, HIT, PC. So the H in HIT stands for headache go. This is a Native American instant headache clearing, and I'm going to demonstrate briefly on Jim. So this Native American technique is to, within 2 minutes or so, scramble the frequencies of dark spirits in the body, the blood, the glands, the organs, the overall body. But now we're just going to do it for headache. So what we do is we raise the energy of Jim, in Jim and around Jim, to 40,000 units. People say, Raymond, what does it mean, 40,000 units? He says, I have no idea, but it works. Just do it. So here we are with Jim, and now we're going to swirl our hands around his head, and we're going to flick our fingers toward his head and his face, the back of his head, and all around. And so we have raised his energy to 40,000, and now we're going to take our hand, or if you have a dowsing technique that you like to use, or dowsing rods, you don't need rods for this, or a pendulum, you can use it as well, but you can do this in your head or with your hands. So first of all, raise the energy to 40,000, and then now what we're doing is we are going counterclockwise. So counterclockwise will be like this, and we are removing all of the dark spirits, any entities in his head, any attitudes, beliefs that are causing him to have a headache. And then we wait for a few seconds, and you can do this for about 7, 8, 9 times until you feel that that's enough. Then you pause, and then you say, now we're introducing love and unity and harmony and cooperation to this head now. And then you check and ask, is that complete? Ask for a yes or no. Usually it'll be yes, and you hardly ever have to do it a second time. So first of all, by the way, we ask, can I do this? And will he receive the energy, yes or no? Yes, I was doing that inside. Yes, I can do it. Yes, he will receive it. Yes, it will work. And then now, so we've done counterclockwise, removing the negative energies, clockwise, putting in love, health, balance, healing, and so on. And then now we're asking, is this clear? Did it work? And the answer is yes. All right. Now, all right, next after that, we're going to show you how to do Teapot Head, a quick mood lifter for people, and then a protection decree so you can program your subconscious to warn and protect loved ones before they encounter danger, whether you're awake or asleep. And then we're going to show you how to clear water supplies and building venues. And then you might ask, this is a question people ask, how does all this differ from positive thinking? Well, in 3 ways. Most positive thinking does not explicitly work with the energy of people, places, and things, since everything is energy and frequency. And so most people don't know how to raise the energy to over 40,000 units or higher, if you like.
Or don't even try.
Right, exactly. They just don't know.
The positive thinking process is an entirely different process than this because, as Connie said, we're dealing specifically with intentions about energy and frequencies.
Right, to raise energy, remove negatives, and insert positives. All right. So Raymond teaches that existing negative patterns of energy and illness must be scrambled. That's the key, scrambled, and transmuted by the spirit doctors that he calls them. Native Americans call them the spirit doctors, and we call them the masters of light, and they're the same beings. And they do that before new patterns of positive energy can be installed. Now, you already had the experience last time with giving all of your emotional and spiritual and negative energies and thoughts and unforgiveness to Archangel Michael. And he took it away in a trash bag, sent it out to another dimension, and turned it into light. This is like that too. See, you already have experience. This is just expanding on it a little bit. And then finally, most positive thought has the intention of getting something for one's own self. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. This is just a different process. What we're teaching with these Ramon Grace principles of directed energy is to help others to make the world a better place and help people to deal with their own problems quickly and easily without having to waste years or lifetimes in great big dramas that don't amount to anything and just waste yet another lifetime. So then you could, as we said, send your reports and testimonials to info@connieshaw.com or to your gazing coordinators within 48 hours, and then we'll thank the Lord at the end. And then please write down these 3 basic principles which underlie the work we're going to do today. So here's the chart. The 3 basic principles by Ramon Grace. There's no D at the end of Ramon, R-A-M-O-N. 1. Everything is composed of energy. Nearly all energy can be changed. Then 2, energy impresses itself upon matter, like us, our skin, our bones, the furniture, clothing, the air, everything, buildings. So what we have is that it can be impressed upon the land and ethers from wars. That's why people have to go in and clear practically every place on earth which has had one war or another. It's used, it can be impressed upon clothing, that is used clothing, and furniture from antique shops and pawn shops, and thrift shops. It can be attached to you by being around polluted buildings and contaminated people who are persistently angry, complaining, grief-stricken, or aggressive. All that actually gets on you and into you and can affect you. So after being with a grumpy person, you might go away and then think, oh, I just don't feel like my happy, balanced, cheerful self. I wonder why I feel so dark or down. That's because energy impresses itself on matter. Number 3, energy follows thought, as we know. So practice empty mind to attract beneficial conditions to yourself and others. Don't preoccupy yourself with thoughts and discussions about conditions that you don't want unless you're decreeing to prevent and to transmute them. Now, transmutation, as we said, is to change a form or a substance from one thing to another. For example, Jesus turned water into wine at his cousin's wedding at the marriage feast of Cana. That was his first public miracle requested by his mother, beloved Mary. Then Sai Baba turned frogs into sparrows and twigs into a tiny crucifix and rings into other rings. And then also, one time, Swami did a miracle through yours truly, and we'll tell you about that in a moment. Now, so this is a tiny crucifix that was transmuted for Dr. John Hislop, the late Dr. Hislop, the head of the Sai organization in the United States, by Sai Baba, Satya Sai Baba. Very briefly, this photo, or one like it, appears in the famous book by the late Dr. Jack Hislop called My Baba and I, a classic book. If you don't have it, you would really enjoy reading it, because there you find out how Jack gave the details regarding the miracle of the manifestation and transmutation of remnants of the true cross upon which Jesus was crucified. In short, Sai Baba, who was walking outdoors with Dr. Hislop, broke off 2 twigs from a tree, crossed them over each other before he blew on them. And then he stopped time. That was one miracle. Found pieces of the true cross in the Middle East. That was another miracle. And then transmuted the 2 twigs into the tiny crucifix and manifested a miniature sculpture of the Christ figure on the cross. So all this happened within mere seconds. And Sai Baba told Hislop, you know, it took me quite a while to find the actual remnant shards of that cross and to bring them here to make this crucifix for you, but I found them. So We're not just telling these sweet stories to entertain you, but to show you how Jesus and Sai Baba and others do miracles, and they continually say you can do them too. So if you pay attention and you understand what things are called, how they do it, what's involved, one day they can be doing it through you too. So as we said, the miracle involved the collapsing of time, manifesting the crucifix figure, and transmuting the twigs into the actual relics of the true cross. Now, I'd like to tell you the story about one of the first times Baba did transmutation through yours truly. This is called the Arati miracle. So, back in the late 80s, I was invited to go to Canada, to Edmonton, to be the keynote speaker for a Sai birthday celebration on November 23rd. And then after that, subsequently, I was invited to speak in scores of countries and ultimately visited 60 countries. But at this time, it was just the beginning. I didn't know how it was going to go. I was traveling by myself a very, very long way and took almost 20 hours to get there. And then I had been teaching a little before that about Mother Mary and her teachings and prophecies to me and her miracles. And of course, she's done thousands of miracles, just like Jesus. On this particular night in Canada, it was 30 degrees Fahrenheit below zero. And after the devotional singing and my talk, when the local Sai Center woman president and I were together waving the sacred Arati flame to bless the crowd with the remembrance of God and of ourselves as divine light, a transmutation miracle took place, but it took us several minutes to recognize it. In short, the camphor tablet, the white camphor tablet, burned itself out, symbolizing that we are not the body, mind, and emotions. Eventually, all that will disappear, and spirit, which we are, will ever remain. So the camphor burned out, leaving a perfect black silhouette on the tray, etched into the tray, of a seated Sai Baba. Well, when the woman finally realized it, as we were all packing up, ready to go into the minus 30 below cold, snowy night, she screamed from the stage and said, "Ah! Come here, everybody!" We said, "Are you hurt? Are you all right? What happened? What happened?" Well, she said, "Come up here and look at this. It's a miracle." And we all gathered around the Arati tray, and sure enough, the camphor pellet had disappeared, and there was an outline of Baba, which hadn't been there before. It was just a plain, simple silver tray. And then a few minutes after that, we were at the door saying our goodbyes and thanking everyone for a lovely time and all the beautiful food and the singing and so on. And two women were standing in front of me holding very large framed glassed photos of Sai Baba. They were just maybe 3 feet in front of me. And as I was talking to them, all of a sudden, golden Amrit nectar appeared right in the middle of the photo of Baba in both cases and started running down the glass. And I said, "Oh my gosh, look, turn your pictures around. Baba just manifested Amrit nectar on the photographs." That's 3 miracles in just a short time. Oh, thank you, Lord. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're too good to us. Thank you so much for all your love and manifestations and transmutations and miracles. And then after that, we just felt like we were walking on air and dashed out the door into the snowy 30 below winter air in the dark northern night. Now, another transmutation miracle happened in New York City in the 80s. Now, I could not believe this, and I told Anita, who told me, "I just have such a hard time believing this." But Sai Baba would not act like that. He would not do what you're telling me. And she said, "Well, don't judge him. You don't know what he will do until he does it. And he's capable of many things, and you don't know about them. But this is one that I'm going to share with you, so don't judge him." All right, then. It involves Sai Baba, the embodiment of love as we are, knocking out cold a gangster assailant, unconscious, face up, on the sidewalk in New York City. So here's the backstory. Anita and Joe who are African Americans, and that's germane to the story, were Sai Center officers in New York and told us that one recent Halloween, they had been invited to a Halloween party at night in a very dangerous part of the inner city, about a half-hour's walk from their own neighborhood, which wasn't yet dangerous. So Anita and Joe had laughed and talked and said, well, let's just dress up this time as gangsters, and it'll be so fun. So they arranged their gangster costumes, and they tore up their jeans and were wearing torn jeans, leather jackets, lots of chains all over their jackets and sticking out of the pockets of their jeans. And then with magic marker, they put tattoos all over their heads and necks. Well, now, this was quite a while ago, before tattoos were worn by ordinary people, and when ordinary people did not walk around in torn jeans. Now, everybody looks like a gangster. It's the mode. But as they were walking back from the party at midnight, laughing about how nobody had recognized them in their costume disguises, they were just so happy, had had a wonderful time, and they were talking a little loudly in this very dangerous, dark neighborhood at midnight, when all of a sudden, an actual, real, thuggish gangster jumped out around the corner wielding a knife, and he demanded Anita's purse and Joe's wallet, waving his knife threateningly. And Anita screamed out, "Swami, help! Help us!" Well, just as the gangster robber advanced, saying to them, "Shut up or I'll cut you. Shut up. Give me your money now." Well, a huge 6.5 foot tall, very well muscled man who looked like a tall Muhammad Ali ran up behind the robber and knocked him out flat. Oh, Anita and Joe just stood there whispering, "Swami? Is that you? Is that you, Swami?" Hoping to high heaven it was. Otherwise, they were in big trouble. Baba said in very stern tones, yes, it's me. And I only had 2 seconds from the time you called for me to change myself into this disguise and to save you from a mugging, or even worse. I'm not happy with you two. I've told you repeatedly," he scolded, "not to walk in this neighborhood, especially after dark, but you have disobeyed me over and over. And those costumes that you're wearing only confuse people. People will judge my devotees by the way you speak and act and dress. This is not what I represent. I represent love and compassion. These gangster costumes have nothing to do with me and my mission. You will promise me now, once and for all, that you'll never walk in this neighborhood at night, and that you'll be mindful of your attire at all times so that it's clean and modest and appropriate. Will you promise me that? I can't always be coming to your rescue because you're being unconscious and disobedient. Do you understand what I'm saying? Whenever I give you directions, it's only for your own safety and protection." "Oh, yes, we're so sorry," said Anita and Joe. "Oh, Swami, we're so sorry. We didn't mean to cause you so much trouble. Thank you for saving our lives. Oh, thank you, Swami. Thank you so much. We'll obey you from now on. We're sorry." He said, "Oh, all right, good," he said softly. "Now, hurry home. Don't talk out loud, just whisper, and pay attention to your surroundings at all times. Everyone should pay attention to their surroundings at all times so they know who and what is around them, front to the side, up, down, and behind. I had to hit this guy pretty hard so that he wouldn't wake up and try to attack you all over again. Now run home, quickly. Be quiet." Isn't that a good story? I believed it after they told me. Now, the next stories you've heard about already, but some people may not know them. These are the stories of, number 1, the frogs and the sparrows. So most of you are familiar with 2 of Sai Baba's most famous transmutation miracles. The first one was when he was about 10 years old and a Cub Scout in his native village of Puttaparthi, South India. And he transformed a basket of frogs into a swarm of sparrows when the frogs were being tormented and abused by village boys with sticks. So he simply pointed at the frogs in the baskets and said, "Frogs into sparrows," and immediately they flew away from their captors. Then he also changed water into petrol, meaning gasoline. So one time a European foreigner had driven his car off the narrow highway near Puttaparthi and had run out of gas. Now, in those days, the villages were virtually medieval. Most of the roads were unpaved. There were no glass in windows. There were thatched huts set upon dirt, earthen floors, and the people were very simple agrarian people. And there were no cars in the area, much less gas stations. So Baba came upon the man. Of course, he said that he had actually attracted him to the area through his magnetism so he could do a miracle for him. So he came upon the man and asked what their trouble was. And the man said, "I'm out of gas. I don't know what to do. I'm lost." And Baba said, don't worry. I'll help you. I'll fill your tank with gas. Just wait here." Then Baba took a jug, went down to the nearby banks of the Chitravati River, and poured water into the jug, which he transmuted into gasoline. So water into gasoline, or petrol, so that the man could continue on his way, and the man told everyone what had happened. Word began to spread about the God-man who was living in South India, who could resurrect and heal and transmute all sorts of things and manifest and feed the thousands of people several times a year with just a small amount of food. Now, Baba transmuted rings, and still does, into other types of jewelry, like a ring into an ID bracelet or into a chain or earrings or something like that. He first manifests the first piece of jewelry, and then oftentimes he'll blow on it and turn it into a different piece of jewelry for the same person. So in the 40 years that Jim and I have made 55 trips to India, as we've said, taking sick people to be blessed and healed, as we've said before, we have been blessed to observe at close range more than 1,500 of Sai Baba's manifestations, including many transmutations and healings and many manifestations of sacred healing vibhuti ash. Now, this includes at least 40 manifestations and private interviews for our groups over the decades. I only mention that to drive home the point that he has done millions of manifestations. There are thousands of books written about these. He has done countless resurrections, and I've met 3 people who were resurrected by him who gave us a blow-by-blow description of the whole process. He's done millions of healings and scores of transmutations as both Satya Sai Baba and also while using the present body of Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai in Mudanhalli. You saw his picture in the slideshow. So this is in Mudanhalli, South India, next to Chikbalapur, which is a city there. And Madhusudan Sai has also done miracles globally in many countries in recent years. Now we're going to show a photo of the ring that was manifested. All right, this is the 4 gifts ring. Sai Baba manifested this ring with lessons of humility and obedience, and this is the story. He specifically said when he gave me the ring in March of 2010, 1 year before he left his body, he said that each stone represented a unique gift of the Spirit to help other people whom he would send to me. The first gift was to help infertile couples, of which I've worked with about 30 people or 15 couples that were infertile. A number of years ago, we saw them once only in Malaysia, and I don't know if they had babies. If they did, those babies would be 10 or 11 years old now. Then he said, in addition to people being able to conceive and deliver a healthy child, the second gift was to deliver suicidal people from all self-destructive tendencies. And many have told us that after one or another gazing session, they no longer felt self-destructive or profoundly depressed or wanted to end their lives. Now, the third stone on the right would help the unemployed and the underemployed. Once after gazing in Australia, 2 weeks later, a dentist who had been unemployed for 7 years, I believe he was living with his mother, 7 years unemployed, 2 weeks later he was offered a job at good pay. He was very happy about that. And many other people attending gazings have had new jobs given to them by the Lord, and we're so happy for that. Now, the Lord said the fourth stone would help people who were stuck in life and who were confused, insecure, and overwhelmed to throw off those erroneous thought forms and to strongly move forward in life. So since gazing, people are saying they're no longer insecure, overwhelmed by life, stuck, depressed, suicidal, sick, and so on. So we always thank them for sharing what the Lord has so graciously done for them as feedback for all of us, and to remind them that we are not the doer. We're being done. We're all being done by God as He moves His energy through us, just as they're being His vessels too. Now, I'd like to give a decree for the clearing of those watching, which will include a blessing and an impartation, or blessing, which we've never done before. We've never done an impartation, which means, you'll see in a moment. And we want this impartation to help you be successfully used by God for any transmutations which He wants to give to another person through you. All right. So, this decree is for the impartation or clearing of any spirits of illness or injury, and the capacity to receive and extend divine energies to others by God's will through you. You can back up this video, obviously, later to write down this and to practice with it, and to make sure that in your notebook you have all of the steps in order to be able to start using these processes right away for suffering people who need you. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. By the power of the mighty I Am presence within me, and by the power invested in me and in you, by beloved Master Jesus the Christ, and by beloved Sai Baba, I now decree that you are cleared of every binding force, all pain and illness, and all injury, such as sprains and bone fractures and diseases, and that you are free to release any unwanted surgical metals, such as screws, rods, and plates, interdimensionally. Further, I decree in the name of Almighty God, Creator and Supreme Being, that if you are so willing to align your will with God's holy will and receiving His prompting and guidance, taking no credit or glory for His miracles, that you may be gifted with the gifts of healing, manifestation, and transmutation. Amen, and so be it. All power to Almighty God, and blessed be His holy name. By the way, I raised your energy frequencies to far above 40,000 units. So you've all been raised in your energy, and you've been cleared and transmuted, and new love and energy has been placed into you. So, by the way, before we demonstrate how to do the 5 new skills, I need to kindly request you again to take photos of any manifestations, miracles, and before and after x-rays. Like if you have an x-ray you can get from your doctor, or take a picture of it, ask to pop into the office and take a picture of the before, and to have another x-ray and then to take a picture of that one, so you can send them to us and we can keep a record of all these happenings. For example, if screws or plates in a leg were energetically removed, it would be wonderful of you to send photos of the x-rays with and without the metal in your body. People need to know about it so that they know it's possible. There are many, many people that have been war veterans that have bodies full of shrapnel and bullet fragments and all kinds of plates and screws and bars and things like that. It would be great if they could just have those disappear interdimensionally. Many people have been involved in car accidents, ski accidents, farm accidents, and they also have lots of surgical metals. Now, this is really interesting. Sometimes surgical metal will fly out of a person interdimensionally. Now, this doesn't have to be done in person. You can just decree this at long distance or remotely. But if you're visiting someone or counseling them or doing a healing session or visiting, then you can just try it. And sometimes what happens is it flies out of people's bodies interdimensionally, and then it hits somebody like the healer in the knee or the calf lightly before it tinkles, tinkle, tinkle to the floor, and it disappears into light. Now, we personally have not known anybody that had surgical metal that they wanted to have disappear yet. But if the Lord sends him to us, well, then we'll do this, and then he'll do the miracle. But many American Christian ministers have done so. And some of you've heard this before. Dr. Randy Clark, who's extraordinary. He is a Baptist minister, but he's not so much into the dogma these days. He's just into love and healing. So he's a Baptist minister and healer who did a doctoral thesis several years ago called, quote, 950 cases of surgical metal, 950 cases, leaving human bodies through the intervention of the Holy Spirit, end quote. That's just regarding him. Those people had their surgical metal removed by the Holy Spirit when he was working on them. That doesn't count the thousands of times it's happened in his Randy Clark School of Healing and other revival meetings and talks he's given around the world. He travels all the time. Now, the chart, again, the three basic principles are, once again, just to underscore this, everything is composed of energy. Nearly all energy can be changed. Energy impresses itself onto matter, and energy follows thought. So most of the time, you'll be doing this long distance, always using your mind and making mental images about your intentions. So now we're going to teach you the 5 new transmutation techniques by Ramon Grace of ramongrace.us and other sites. You can search for those. The mnemonic device or memory device for these processes, 5 processes, is HIT PC. HIT-PC. So if you're trying to think, what did we learn in that workshop on November 5th, 2022? Oh yeah, that was Transmutation, Ramon Grace, HIT-PC, HIT-PC. H stands for the first one, which I showed you earlier on, which is headache, leave now, Native American technique. So what you do is you scramble first of all, you raise the person's energy to over 40,000. Then you scramble and flutter your fingers around the person's head to do the process after you ask permission. May I? So may I do this? Will they receive it? Yes, yes. Increase the energy to 40,000. And whoops, there's a missing decimal point there. Let's just ignore that. Imagine stirring counterclockwise, removing negative energy, spirits, beliefs, and attitudes. Pause when you think you should pause. And then intuitively imagine stirring clockwise, inserting love, harmony, and health, and giving the bundles of the dark energy to the spirit doctors to bundle up, carry away, take off planet into another dimension, and to transmute into light where they can never hurt anyone else again. Now then, this is the procedure with the arrows. So once again, raise the energy. Next, counterclockwise, scramble and remove. Third, insert clockwise, and then check. Is this complete? Yes. Now, the next thing that we are going to cover is that, and we also demonstrated on his body. So we've demonstrated on his head and his body, and we raised the energy, as we said, we removed it, scrambled it, did counterclockwise. Energies have been taken away, and the inserts have happened, and we ask, is this complete? The answer is yes. It's nearly always complete. You hardly ever have to do it a second time. And if you do, you can ask, all right, I now decree that any obstacles to this healing process or clearing process are now obliterated and they disappear. The next skill is the letter I, so hit PC. So I is for illness or injury. It's a Native American technique, and it means the title of this process is Illness or Energy, Leave Now. So you do the same process as for clearing a headache, only you do it all around the body. Raise the energy, scramble and remove counterclockwise all spirit ideas, thoughts, moves, beliefs, and a counterclockwise direction. Ask spirit doctors to bundle it, take it all away, transmute them into light. Pause, insert love, harmony, unity, and cooperation in a clockwise direction. Now you can use your hands, as I did, or you can do it in your mind, or you can use your dowsing pendulum. It's up to you. Be as creative as you like. Everybody has their own modes and methods of doing these things. So HITPC. The T in HIT is for Teapot Head. Now kids love doing this. Even a 5-year-old can do it. Anyone can do it. All right, so Teapot Head is you imagine that your client's head is a teapot with a lid. And Teapot Head is for transforming bad moods into good moods. This takes under 60 seconds and only has 2 steps. First of all, you imagine the person's head as a teapot, and then you just take the top off, and you lift the lid using your magic suction tool, which you suction out all dark energies. It's just your index finger. And you pretend it's a mini vacuum cleaner, and you take out all dark energies, thoughts, and moods. And then you simply insert love, butterflies, and flowers, and puppies, and kittens, or whatever you think the person would like. And then you put the top back on. That's all there is to it. And usually within 10 minutes, usually a lot less, the person will be in a good mood. You don't have to ask their permission. If they don't want to be in a good mood, the energy will head toward them like a heat-seeking missile and then do an abrupt U-turn because they hit a wall of energy that says, no, thank you. I like being in a bad mood. That's fine. But you don't have to be around them. So the application for this, here are 3 examples of ways you can use it. You can use it in all kinds of ways, and you'll get more and more ideas as we go through this program and as you practice. So if an upset crying 2-year-old is having a tantrum, throwing their hair all around, rocking back and forth, kicking the carpet, blah, blah, poor me, that usual drama of a 2-year-old in a tantrum, then you can just do Teapot Head and take the lid off of their teapot head, take out all the dark tantrum, crying, poor me victim energies, and then put in butterflies and flowers and puppies and kittens, put the top back on, and then they'll sweeten up and lighten up and become very cheerful and relieved and wonder what happened. Now, you could also use this for a grief-stricken friend who is stuck in grief and who just cannot get going anymore. And so you can do it for them, and then all of a sudden they will shift, wonder what happened, and then feel relaxed and calm, breathe differently, and then start laughing and feeling grateful, usually. You don't have to let anybody know you're doing these things. No one can be healed against his will. It's very simple. They won't receive the energy if they don't want to feel better and feel lighter and have a higher vibration. Now you can do this if you're standing in line at the grocery store checkout counter and there is a very grumpy grocery store clerk. Then you can just stand there with 3 people in front of you and do Teapot Head, take off the lid and remove all the dark energies, the bad mood, and then put in, as you know, sunshine, rainbows, flowers, puppy dogs, kitty cats, butterflies, whatever you think that person might like, and who doesn't like those things. All right. Now, HITPC, P. P stands for the next one, which is programming your subconscious to warn and protect loved ones from danger. Whether you're awake or asleep, you are programming yourself to wake up from a deep sleep if you have a vision or a dream that so-and-so is about to be in danger. Now, this is the decree for that, to program your subconscious to warn and protect others from danger. Let's read this aloud. So, together. 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go. Ready?
Through the power of my mighty I am presence within me, and through the power invested in me by beloved Master Jesus and beloved Satya Sai Baba, I hereby program my subconscious mind to instantly become aware of any impending danger to myself, my friends, and my loved ones in ample time to warn them and avert it.
All right, very good then. So be it. Now, C is for clearing water and buildings. Clearing of water and buildings. You clear negative energy from every building you enter before you leave home. For example, as you see there, you can clear your own house or apartment, your local schools, elementary, middle school, high school, universities, colleges, vocational schools, your grocery store, the workplace, your church or temple, gas station or store, stadium, ballpark, swimming pool, courthouse, police station, restaurant, gym, and so on. All right now. Or a clinic or a hospital. So you can do the same thing that we demonstrated by asking first if you may and if it will work, yes, and raising the energy of the water that goes into the building. Secondly, to
focusing on the water is really important.
Yes. So first of all, you do the water. You say, now I'm clearing the water of this building or venue. And we are taking out all negative spirits, all negative energy, any pollutants or unwanted aspects that are in the water. You don't have to know where the pipes are. You don't have to have a map or a photo of the building. You don't have to ask permission of the school board. They wouldn't know what you're talking about. What you're doing is offering love and very practical processes for the benefit of humanity. All right. So then the water goes into the building. You scramble and remove all dark energies counterclockwise after you raise the energy to over 40,000 units. And then third, you mentally insert positive energy, and this is important, the spirit of love and pure water. I now introduce and insert the spirit of love and pure water along with harmony into the water. Then you do the same thing in your mind for all the people in every room of the building. Now, if you're doing this at night and the teachers and the students would be there in the day, you just pretend it's daytime and you say then, I am now raising the energy of every person that uses this building, including the custodians or janitors and the kitchen ladies, the cafeteria ladies, and all the teachers, the staff, the teachers' aides, all of the students, the principal and his staff in the front office, everybody, and all of the people and parents who visit and who are connected to the students and teachers. So you do that, you raise, scramble, remove, insert, new energy, check for completion. Yes, is it ready? Yes, all right.
So repeat about what the scrambling is about.
Okay, that's when you jumble your fingers and you just twirl them around a person or in your mind a building or around the water pipes entering the building.
So you scramble before you remove.
Absolutely. You have to scramble so it breaks it up, and then you remove it and give it to the spirit doctors to bundle up, take away, put it into another dimension off planet so that it cannot hurt anyone ever again, and they turn it into light. All right. So this usually works the first time. And as we said, you don't need to have a picture or a map or have visited the building. But if you have those, that's fine. That might even help you more, but it's not necessary. You just don't need to have permission to do something positive. The energy knows where to go with your intention. It will move the way it should. So now we've given you the 5 techniques: clearing headaches, the whole body, Teapot Head to shift bad moods, then programming your subconscious to warn and to help others in plenty of time, and then how to clear water. Always clear the water in every single building. So it's essential that you clear the negative energy, as we keep saying, in the water from every building you're clearing, and you do this before even leaving home. You don't have to go on site. You can, but it's not necessary. You can just save time, money, energy, and gas by doing it at home. Now, this is the wrap-up story, which I find fascinating. And this is a story that Ramon Grace tells about the first time he cleared a school in his early career, maybe 30 years ago. So a parent called him and said, "Oh, Raymond, please help our community. It's a mess. My child goes to the local high school. It's not a happy place. The teachers and staff are not happy. The students are not happy. My son is making terrible grades. He's always depressed. He doesn't want to go to school. He wants to stay home. And the sports teams are not doing well. Everybody just seems to be in a bad mood all the time." So Raymond said, "Yes, I'm happy to help you. Thank you for calling. And I'll start working on it right away," which he did. Well, it only took him a few minutes, and he said he'd never done it before, so he didn't know if it was going to work. He just learned the technique from Walt Woods and from Chief Two Trees of the Cherokee tribe and from the late, great, wonderful healer and shaman Cherokee Rolling Thunder. Those were his buds, and they taught him a great deal.
Now, was he basically doing the process you just taught about clearing the water in the building and all the people in it, etc.?
Yes, yes.
That's what he was doing.
This was his first time to try it out on a large venue with lots of people at the same time, not just working on a person or a family. So he said, "Yes, I will help you." And then let me know when you notice something different. Well, about a month later, that mother called and said, "Raymond, it's working. My son is happy. He doesn't want to stay home. He goes to school. His grades are improving. It's working. I'm telling the principal what you're doing." Raymond said, "That's fine. Nothing is secret. This is all very open. We're just trying to help humanity. I believe in two things. I believe in freedom and I believe in kindness." We would translate that to love all, serve all. So he wants to help everybody and all creatures. All right. Next, the principal called and said, "Raymond, I heard from Sally what you've been doing, and it is working. Listen, I have an idea. How would you like to do an experiment with me? We will be a team. We'll be partners. And you know, here in the high school, we have to keep all kinds of records for the county, for the school district, for the superintendent of education, for the Department of Education. And so we have tons of records on everything. So since we're already doing that, how about if we just organize our records as to what's happening and notice if we see any changes from now, September, all the way till May and June?" And Raymond said, "That would be great. Then we can prove this either works or it doesn't." He said, "I love feedback. That's the only way that I know that people are getting it and implementing it and receiving the energy." So at the end of the year, the results were clear, and the principal and the students and the teachers, the parents were all ecstatic. So this is the chart of the benefits and results of the school clearings after 1 year. Before, they had an average of 25 visits to the principal's office a week.
For discipline. That's like to the headmaster.
That's right. Like you go to the principal, you're throwing spit wads and paper airplanes, and you're kicking the person in front of you, and you're not paying attention. So you have to go to the principal's office because you're unmanageable and you're disrupting the class. All right. So that was 25 a week, 100 a month, and actually their average was 1,200 principal visits a year by the students. So after this clearing, it was 1 a week, not 25 people a week going to the principal's office, one person. The other 24 somehow got back into balance. Then there was high teacher turnover. It amounted to low turnover. Then high crime and bullying, especially bullying. Then that morphed into low bullying or no bullying. Then there were low grades and test scores. The grades went up. The people were happy. They studied. They worked for their classes and their grades.
The test scores went way up.
The test scores went way up. All the quizzes and tests and final exams and semester exams and all that. Then the low sports success. They were dismal failures. Then they started to win games and track meets and soccer matches and football games, and they won trophies, and their names were in the local newspaper, and things were getting pretty good. They had low morale before. Then finally, they were performing, they were motivated, so they had high morale. When you drink clear, pure water filled with love, That's what happens. You start performing as an exemplary human being, and so does everybody around you. So the low water energy was flat, tasteless, and sometimes it didn't smell good. The water started smelling sweet and tasting sweet, and it had high water energy. There was high absenteeism that turned into low absenteeism. And then finally, the low student faculty awareness of power of thought and power of feelings and power of speech changed into high awareness. Now, do you realize that every time you swear, and how many times has that been? In a day, or in a month, or a year, or your whole lifetime? Has it been half a dozen? Or has it been hundreds? Or has it been thousands? All of those swear words and F-bombs are hanging around in the atmosphere like dirty black rags, hanging in the atmosphere until somebody comes along and cleans it up. So what Raymond was doing was cleaning up all the swear words and the ugly tones of voice and the mean conversations and the taunting of the bullies from out of the atmosphere of the school and the water and the people. So the final result, after everybody was so ecstatic and they realized, oh my gosh, we mucked up the school atmosphere ourselves with our own negative thoughts, speech, ideas, and mean interactions with other people. That is very tangible. So Raymond was then invited to come. The principal called and said, we're just so excited, we can't stand it. So now everybody said, ask Raymond if he'd be willing to share his secrets. And the principal said, well, Raymond told me they're not secrets, they're simple. He's very self-effacing, you know, and very humble. And he's a very spiritual man, but he just doesn't ever talk about that. He just does it. So he said, Raymond, everybody wants to know, will you design a workshop, come to our school, and teach whoever wants to sign up for it? The parents, the students, the faculty, the staff, the cafeteria ladies, whoever wants to know how to do this mental dowsing so they can clear their homes and apartments and workplaces and the school property. Now, many organizations after that heard about it. Word spread fast. So they invited him to consult with them on corporate and institutional problems and to teach them how to use the skills. Now, recently, one of Raymond's friends named Jeff, who sometimes partners with him, called to thank Raymond, and he said, Raymond, thank you for everything that you've taught me. I put it all into practice, and my health is better, and actually, I don't even eat regular food. I just drink a glass of water every day. Now, for 30 years, he's not eaten a full meal. He says, in the morning, I sprinkle in my mind scrambled eggs and bacon and toast into my glass of water and fruit juice. I'm imagining that's my meal. I drink the water. I feel like I've had a full breakfast. I feel great. He does it for lunch and dinner.
He also puts in vitamins and minerals,
Yes,
right?
yes, he puts vitamins and minerals, supplements in the glass in his imagination. And he said, I wanted to tell you, too, that recently I was contacted by a corporation, and I just signed today the contract's worth $12 million. Thank you so much, Raymond. All right. So now we'll review what we taught. The class overview of the program was we taught you 5 skills, HITPC, HITPC, and then the teaching stories. And then we would like to give our profound thanks and gratitude, our great love from our hearts to the indweller of our hearts, our beloved Lord, and his helpers, the masters, the saints, and the angelic host, and to all of you attendees. And even though we have not met Ramon Grace in person, I would like to say, Raymond, how impressed I am with your endless, selfless service, with your entire lifetime having been devoted to protecting people from wild animals and wild people and from murderers and other unsavory characters, and for all of your very generous, selfless sharing of your profound skills so that your good work can expand to benefit the whole world. And as you keep saying, practice, practice, practice. That brings us to the end of another program. So send your reports of miracles, clearings, and transformations to info@ConnieShaw.com, ConnieShaw.com, or to your gazing coordinators if you have them. We read every single one, usually at least twice. And if you have any photos of interest, be sure to send those. And let us know. We presume if you're sending us these things, we have the permission to share them with other people. The next gazing, as we said, will be on Saturday, December the 3rd, 2022, 2 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And we go back to Standard Time tonight and off of Daylight Savings Time. Farewell and Sai Ram, and God bless you all. And now you may all begin to meditate as you wish. It was our joy to be with you. Practice, practice, practice.